Welcome to the What Are We Doing Here podcast, where we share the inspiring stories of two completely opposite women who overcame their unhealthy relationships with food and negative self talk, found a path to health and healing through self discovery and natural nutritional supplements. I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Brittany. And today we're going to reflect on our trip this past weekend. Lindsay and I, most of you may know, but Lindsay and I met at a conference in Destin back in April. We hit it off on the beach and we just, this podcast bloomed and here we are. But we were able to catch up at another conference in Orlando this past weekend and really wanted to spend some time just talking about what we experienced and reflecting on what we got, both personal growth and business growth.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, for me, and this is another thing that we've talked a little bit about on this podcast, is that my spiritual journey, my developing a relationship with God, praying for an opportunity to be home with my kids more. And I'll tell you, the number one thing on my list that I really hit home this weekend was that God is completely in control. We talked about last week, I've had a bit of a rough time the last few weeks. And I just really know that there's no denying that I was on the wrong path and this is my right path. Like, sometimes it's extremely difficult to have those conversations and, reroute your GPS, right? Like, you think you're going down one path and you think it's the right way. Sometimes God says you need to take a U-turn,
And yeah, we did
and
discuss that. Yeah.
yeah,
Reroute. Did you say reroute?
yes, reroute,
Reroute.
reroute.
Sorry. One of our differences.
That's funny. But yeah, so that just God is in control of everything. And if we just listen and we quiet ourselves and, we walk that path of purpose, that everything truly is different.
Yeah, you feel different when you can let go of it. Yeah, and
Yeah,
who can you really let go of it except to him because
right.
he is in control, right?
Yep,
Because it's
absolutely.
easy enough to say, "Oh, I'm going to let Jeremy take care of this today." But do we ever really relinquish that control, or are we like, "Hey, did you get this done? Did you stop at the grocery store?"
Uh-huh.
Right, but with God, when you set it at his feet and walk away and relinquish control, there really is a calmness and a peace that comes with that.
Yep. Yep. So the next one for me is that I try to pride myself on saying that I show up authentically online. And while I do believe that I show up authentically, I don't sugarcoat things.
Mhm.
My life is what my life is when I show up online. And sometimes there will be days that I just don't post because I don't want to put negativity out into the online space. And so if there's a delay, if there's a day that goes by, it's more because I'm handling something. And then this is the platform that I talk about it. But what I found is, yes, authentically showing up, but several people this weekend were like, man, you are so much more fun and lively in person than you come across on social media and in the podcast. And I mean, you've told me from day one on this podcast that when we hit record, that my posture is different. My laugh is different. My tone is different.
Yeah,
And like,
if I could hit record and you not see the countdown, I think it would make all the difference. Like I could just sneakily record you because you laugh and you're such a joy. I don't think you're inauthentic at all on social media or in the podcast. I think you're just a lot more professional. Whereas I enjoy the Lindsay that is like so much like me, the laughing and the cutting up. So yeah.
yeah. And so today I'm really trying hard to like embrace the personality and like let myself let loose a little bit. I
Yeah.
know exactly where that comes from. I've worked in healthcare for 20 years. I have to put on a professional face when I walk to the bedside of a patient, during
Mhm.
meetings, when I'm coaching people in my leadership role. I have to kind of put on this professional persona
Mhm.
and really be able to flip that switch. And so I guess I feel like sometimes, especially this podcast, that it's a little bit like I have to be a little more professional. I have to be put together. And while that's true, I'm definitely going to be a little bit better about just letting my fun side come out, laugh a little bit more with you, let loose a little more, and really let people see a little more. Even when I do live videos, even when I do videos on social media, I can tell like I button it up.
Yep.
I have after this weekend, I went back and I kind of looked at some old videos and I was like, I literally like put on a suit and button it up when I get on video. Like there's no body language. There's no I don't know. And so I'm really that is the challenge to myself is to get on video and just be myself.
Yes.
Just be myself.
And
So,
I think it's important to say right here, right now, you're witnessing another part of our journey. Lindsay is admitting that she needs to loosen up a little bit. We don't come here as perfect people. We come here to grow with you and hope that you're growing with us because it's a journey. We're never going to get off this train. We're going to grow the rest of our lives. So, yeah, I'm proud of you because I do say that, but I think maybe you heard it from some other people.
I did. I definitely did. We saw a lot of people who we've only seen on social media. You know, we didn't meet them at the previous conference and they watch our journey. And then I heard it from several people like, you're so great online, but you're different in person. Like
You're
it's,
better. Yeah, yeah. And leading that kind of leads me into where what I got mostly out of this weekend was that, we come here, not just here, but on social media, almost as part of our journey to heal. I know that's how
uh-huh.
this podcast has become. I've told my story. I've told my story here. I've told my story on social media, and it was more about healing for me. Um, but man, the people that come up and want to pray with you and want to pour
Mm-hmm.
back into you, people I've never met before. And then there's the people that come up and are like, you're an inspiration. We had a lady come up and wanted selfies with Lindsay and I because her granddaughters are, one of them's got PCOS and the other one's got some stuff going on. And she recognized us from the podcast and
Yeah.
she wanted pictures with us. And, we didn't start this journey for that kind of thing. We started this to heal, but I hope that we are making the impact on you all because you guys are impacting us just by letting us
Yeah.
record and listening to us.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And oh, that kind of brings me into my third point. Like we want to inspire people, but it also reminded me that we need to all be living our purpose because life is short. It's unpredictable and tomorrow is not promised. And oh, I can tell you mm, it was a rough one. I had a really rough day, one of the days of the conference. If you are in the network marketing space, because or you are in business or you are online
At all, right?
at all, you probably have heard of Jesse Lee Ward. And, when I stepped into this industry, I wanted to learn from the best.
Yeah.
And so just 6 weeks ago, I started working with her and coaching in her business coaching. And, finding out the news that she had passed away from the stage 4 colon cancer that she'd been fighting, it was hard for me. In the last 6 months, I've had multiple people very close to me who have been affected by cancer. A really good friend who was 43 passed away from stage 4 colon cancer as well. A really good friend of mine, her husband's recently been diagnosed and, they're unsure. It is a brand new diagnosis and they're in the early stages of prognosis. And
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good. I'll only give you a second. Um, just yeah, take you a second. I know there's a lot of people listening too. We've all got those stories where we've lost somebody to cancer, right? And we all know somebody that's fighting right now, and that we don't know if there's any kind of hope there at all. And so we're gonna take this minute relate to Lindsay a little bit because she's got a lot going on there.
But what I was going to relate that to was your impact and how you're saying, like we're early in this journey and we're impacting people, but my goodness, the millions and millions and millions of people that she impacted and her legacy will live on. And I think that we just all need to learn a little bit from that and like
Yeah.
showing up and being kind and giving and
Ugh,
compassionate, inspiring human beings. Like, you know,
yes.
when someone interacts with you, just be kind. We do not know what people are dealing with. You don't know what we're dealing with behind the scenes. Like, just be a kind human being and inspire people in any
Yes.
way that you can because you never know when that'll be the last smile they see. You never know the last time you get to hug someone. So just be kind, love people.
Yeah, let your light shine. We're all unique and we bring something different to this world. And you can probably touch people that need it that nobody else can touch. So you have to show up every day and be kind and authentic and just shine your light on the world.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, she was so inspirational. So she gave so much to this world. And so, I just really hope that one day, like, I just want to touch one person every day. I just want to inspire one person every day.
That's me
I love
raising my
you.
hand, those of you that aren't watching the
Yes.
video.
Yes. Um, but yeah, that's a tough one. And to follow that up, I think what we learned this weekend about healthcare and disease management, and that we really live in a country. I mean, the US specifically, it's worldwide, but it's really bad in the US.
Really bad here. Yes.
But we have a misguided healthcare process. Our system is based on disease management. Our preventative health is finding a disease sooner. It's not about promoting health. It's not about teaching people how to be healthy and live with vitality and live at an optimal functioning, just to actually live and just not be sick.
Well, and I think you had mentioned this to me, or I saw you post something. I know we were discussing it that um, if you don't have a cold, if you don't have something going on right now, how healthy are you at this
Hmm.
moment? Right.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a big girl. I'm working on getting healthy. Lindsay, she's a little girl. She's working on getting healthy. We're all on this journey. So we all are starting to realize that we've got to start doing something a little bit differently because I thought I was doing everything right and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Lindsay thought she was doing everything right when she was bodybuilding and she wasn't. So,
Yep.
we've just had our eyes open this weekend, I think.
Yeah, there are very few people in the world who understand or who have experienced true health.
Hmm. Yeah.
And nobody talks about, the toxic exposure in our air, in our water, the dyes in our food, sugar, the
Yes.
coloring in candy, pesticides in our food,
I
hormones and
actually
antibiotics in the meat.
Yeah, I actually learned this weekend that we should all be filtering our water because of the way it's recycled. Is
Mm.
that the right word? But that if the neighbors are taking birth control and peeing it out, then
Yeah.
I'm getting a dose of birth control. Yeah, I know. Me too.
But
But
I mean,
Yeah, go ahead. We just have to filter these things out of our system. We have to be more aware of it. The world is
Mhm.
becoming more populated and we have to be more proactive in our health. And I wish
Yep.
I would have.
It's not talked about. It's not taught. It's not
Yeah,
something that is brought to our attention. And I've
yeah.
talked about this before in nursing school, in, going back and getting an advanced degree. Do you know how many nutrition classes I had? One.
Wow.
One nutrition class. It
Wow.
isn't talked about. And so that brings me to one of my last points, is that we're just so uneducated on the importance of proper nutrition, like specifically cellular nutrition, 43 vital minerals and nutrients that our bodies need every single day to function properly. 43 of them. And there's no way that we can get all of those nutrients, even if you're eating a healthy diet, even if you're eating the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables, because unless they're organic and you know that you grew them yourself and there were not pesticides put on them, you can be eating the right foods. But if they're laden with toxins and you're putting that in your body, they're fighting each other. You've got the antioxidants of the fruits, but you've also got the toxins from the pesticides that are fighting each other.
But let me say this. Yes, you are correct. I'm learning that from you, but I also learned from one of our friends, Cynthia, that what our grandparents ate was 80% more nutritious than what we ate. I'm no
Yes.
farmer. I don't understand how the soil works and all. She tried to explain it to me, but again, my mind doesn't go there. But our food that we're eating, the same potato that our grandparents ate, was 80% more nutritious. We are depleting the soil. We are
Yes.
not getting the nutrients we need from our food. We are overfed and we
And
undernutrient.
undernutrient.
Yeah, undernourished.
Yep.
We
Yep.
are. Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll tell you briefly, just to help you understand it a little bit. So the dirt starts with a whole bunch of nutrients in it. Plants grow, they take the nutrients out. Immediately they recycle, plant again. It's
Yeah.
like drinking water, right? Like
Mhm.
if the water's not going in fast enough, or the salt isn't going into the water fast enough, there's not enough for the subsequent amount of
Yeah.
nutrients needed to pull to grow those vegetables, to grow. So it's nutrient depleted. The soil is depleted of the nutrients.
That's the blonde version. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
The short and simple. Yeah, because that makes perfect sense. But yeah. So where do we get that, right? Where do we get these nutrients we need in order to prevent and be healthy like our grandparents were? Because I don't know about you, Lindsay, but most of our grandparents, unless there was some kind of sickness, lived to be a lot older than our people
Yes.
are living now.
Yep.
Mhm.
And again, like, I don't care where you want to find these vitamins, minerals, and supplements. Like, we aren't pushing our products, we aren't pushing our company, we're not telling you what to do. We're just saying you don't get the proper nutrients from your food.
Right.
From a medical background, we are not taught that. But why do we keep having chronic disease? And why are we having more chronicity as people age? 200 years ago, if you look at the bodies of humans 200 years ago versus the bodies and the stature of people today, they're different.
Yes.
There's not enough nutrient and there's too much toxicity, because what are the two things that will kill a cell? Not enough nutrients or
And
toxins.
yeah.
Yeah. So we've got to try to decrease our amount of toxins and
Mhm.
increase the amount of nutrients. And it's not going to happen from the amount of food that we can get in. And, so everybody needs a supplement. Now, we
Yeah,
should still be eating healthy and
right.
eating the fruits and
Mhm.
vegetables, but
So, I just wanted to kind of speak about I was not that girl. I thought I was eating correctly. The fact is our stuff is full of fillers. So, it doesn't matter how good you think you're eating. A lot of times you're not eating as good as you need to be. But
Mhm.
I was not that girl that thought it should be prevented, or I kind of rolled my eyes at preventative. I didn't go into the medical field. I was skinny the whole first part of my life. It
Mhm.
never, why do I need to prevent something? I'm not sick. That
Yep.
was my whole mentality. But let me just tell you, 5 months, I've been taking a supplement, superfood supplements. And again, you don't have to, we're not trying to push any products on you.
Nope.
It's facts. All of my acne is cleared up. My skin tags have fallen off. My mother's skin cancers have fallen off. There are things that we need that we're not getting, and our bodies are feeling it. If this can happen in 5 short months to me and my
Mhm.
family, it can happen to you too. All I did was add a supplement. That's it.
Mhm.
A high-end superfood supplement is what I added, and has changed me completely. My skin is clearer, my hair is thicker and longer
Mhm.
and better,
Yep.
and just it's crazy what happens when you put the right stuff in.
Yep. You're getting those 43 nutrients that your body needs, and it's neutralizing free radicals, the amount of antioxidants. Because I want to see if this picture will come up. I was looking for a picture of my last bodybuilding show, because this person, this body, had autoimmune, Hashimoto's, tired all the time, feeling terrible, like overworked and undernourished, like, because I was taking fat burner supplements. I was taking all these things to burn the fat. I have the body I was chasing, but I felt terrible. And today I am so happy with not only how I look, but how I feel,
Yeah.
because you can't take that away.
No.
So,
It
yeah.
is to me when I think about it, Lindsay, and I think we heard it this weekend. You may have to expand on it because my brain. I recorded a lot of this weekend, but it's more about we're dying at a young age, and if we're living to 80 or 90, are we really living, or
Right.
are we just keeping ourselves going, surviving? So I want to live to be 90, and I want to do it in a healthy way to where I'm still, out running around with my
Mhm.
nephew's grandkids, if that's what it
Mhm.
comes to.
Mhm.
I want to live long, but I want to live long in a healthy way so that my body and me are better.
Yeah. You want quality. And I'll tell
There
you,
you
that
go.
was another
Quality.
thing that I met people this weekend that when they told me their age, I was like, no, no way,
Right. Yes.
no way.
Mhm.
These are people who have been using superfoods since 1996, you know?
Right.
And wow, like, wow, I want to look like that when I'm in my late 70s. Oh my gosh. I want to
81.
feel like this.
Yes, I saw her. I saw
Crazy.
one. She was 81 or 83. Honey, she was getting it faster than most of the people our age.
Yes.
And she
Yes.
looked like she was in her 50s.
Yes.
She's not feeling her, and it's not that she went and had Botox. It's not that she
Mm-mm.
went and had anything lifted. She just is putting God's good stuff inside of
Mhm.
her, the
Yep.
nutrients that she needs, and preventing being sick. She doesn't want
Mhm.
to live a life where she has to go to the doctor and they put a band-aid on whatever it is that's wrong. She wants to live
Yep.
a life that she doesn't even have to go to the doctor.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, incredible. I mean, it truly is, and I wish that everyone could feel this good. You as well as me, every single day you get messages from people who are like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I can't believe how good I feel. Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm down 12 pounds. Oh my gosh, thank you. I'm down 20 pounds." Like, and but I've put side by sides up of what my body looks like. I wish that there was a way that you could
Yes.
quantify how you feel like that you could exude and show on a picture, the energy,
Mhm.
the your mentality, your clarity.
Yes.
You can't show that to people.
The
And
biggest yeah, the biggest thing that I get that I love to hear is, "You gave me my life back."
yes. Yes.
And that is reoccurring over and
Mhm.
over and over again.
Yep.
And we say we wanna touch one person, and we do. We see them every day. I just I think these people are gonna go out and change the world. So we are
Yes.
touching a lot more, you know? I mean, the
Yeah.
fact is people are going from being sick, 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 no help. Like our lead doctor in our company, his wife, Lindsay, you know this, was
Yeah.
on 9 medications and not getting better. And he
Mhm.
hated any kind of supplement talk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he still said, "I'll let you try supplements because this isn't working." She
Ain't
came
nothing's
off all
working.
yeah. What?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, nothing was working until, so why not give it a try? There's nothing to lose. There's nothing to
Right?
lose.
And
You might
what
get your
happened?
life back.
Yes.
Yeah.
She got her life back, got off that medication. I'm a walking testimony to that. This is
Yes,
the
you
amount
are.
of medication that I was taking a day between PCOS and pseudotumor, not to mention the spinal taps that were happening, the shots, what
The
nerve
Yep.
blocks that I was
Oh, yeah,
getting put
yeah.
in. You know, all of these things I was doing to try to put a band-aid on the problem.
Mhm.
And then I just changed my diet and added some superfoods and some high quality stuff. And I'm off all but one medication. Doctors took me off. Doctors couldn't
Mhm.
believe my numbers. I'm off
Mhm.
2,500 milligrams of metformin.
Yep.
Who doesn't want to have their sugar fixed?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, there are people very close to me who are on that path. They're going to get off those meds. They want off of them. They're trying. I mean, this is the path. So anyway, oh,
Yeah, I know. We can get on a
we could talk
soapbox. It is.
forever. Yeah.
We could. I just think that the main thing is that, you know, we reflected on the weekend and we come to this podcast to grow every week. And mostly it has been personal and emotional growth. But, you know, I almost felt like it was a crime to not bring this up because the
Yeah.
physical changes that we have felt are life altering. And
Mhm.
so this is something that had to be done. It had to be recorded. You know, we want to talk about our personal and emotional growth, but our physical growth is pretty amazing. And so we are
Yeah.
going to talk about that too.
Yeah. But I think that there's a piece of the mental health aspect that, I mean, comes from nourishing your body properly. I
Yes.
mean, they talk about how,
Yes.
sugar is affecting kids and causing ADHD, and how, all of these toxic exposures really do contribute to mental health as well. I mean, obviously, there are traumas and things that you have to work through with counseling, but as far as some of those other, you know, chemically altered brain disorders, same thing. Blood pressure, mental health. The problem is you can't measure the mental health. You can measure a blood pressure.
I had a child back in school that had a 504 plan. This was when I was student teaching. I wasn't teaching school. And I, you know, I didn't understand it, but their 504 plan was that they had some behavior issues and the mother changed the diet. She took out red dye. I'm not sure there's a number
Mhm.
to it. I wish I could
40,
remember. This has been
red
20
40.
years ago. What is it?
I think it's red 40.
That sounds right. She changed the all his foods where he wasn't having that dye and behavior issues cleared up like that. This
Mhm.
and I was student teaching. I mean, this was 20 years ago. This is
Mhm.
way before I ever started thinking about my own health and all.
Mhm.
So, you know, even thinking back to that because I just thought about it actually.
Yeah,
You know, things can be changed by what you put in. God gave us what we need to put in, and if you're putting a bunch of crap that man made in instead of what God made, then chances are you're going to feel bad.
absolutely. And I am guilty of not having that knowledge. So are you. That's how we ended up with chronic disease,
Yes.
with an autoimmune, with PCOS. We both dealt with that. Like, it's hard to self reflect and look at and take accountability for the fact that the choices we've made, the foods we've put in our body, the things that we just were uneducated on
Mhm.
were a direct correlation to some of the things that we're dealing with now. It's hard. You want to blame it on genetics. My mom had high blood pressure, blah, blah, whatever. Yes, you have maybe a greater disposition or predisposition, but it's not the cause. It's what you're putting in. If we would be accountable for our health, make some positive changes, then, you could really change your life.
And I know we're running over, but I do want to build on what she's saying because I was that person. I was like, well, I have PCOS, so I'm fat. I
Mhm.
have PCOS, so I'm fat.
Mhm.
So now that I know how to eat, I do realize that I was poisoning my body with some of the things that were putting in there. My favorite thing was the water flavor I put in. It had
Mhm.
maltodextrin in it and some other stuff. And anyway, I have to take responsibility because now I know that I was also poisoning my body. So
Mhm.
yes, PCOS was the catalyst. It was what caused the weight gain in the beginning, but 15 years went by that I didn't do anything about it. I mean, I worked out and I thought I ate better, but
But if
educate
you
yourself. Yes,
Mhm.
if you educate yourself, because no doctor is going to educate you, folks. I know. No nutritionist educated me.
And it's not malicious.
No.
It is not malicious intent because we just aren't educated on it either.
One
And
nutrition
that's
class you had. One.
right. That's what I'm saying. It's something we have to do on our own. Like, it's not that they're trying to teach you wrong. It's
Right.
what we're taught in medicine. It
Yes.
is disease management. We are taught to find the disease and treat it, not to prevent the disease. It's like I said in the beginning, preventative care is earlier detection.
Yes.
That's not preventative. And let's be honest here that, like, the 15 years leading up to a diagnosis of PCS, and I can say this for me as well, is what were you being fed? I'll tell you
Oh,
my diet as a child, you know,
and it
government
wasn't
assisted
any
cheese, hot dogs, mac and cheese, all of these processed foods.
and it wasn't my parents' fault.
Nope.
That's what we were that's what they were shown was healthy.
Mhm.
I remember my aunt that fixed a lot of our food. She was in the food industry.
Mhm.
She knew what needed to be. She was taught to feed certain things. We were
Mhm.
taught and it was not what we needed. And they
Yeah.
tried. We had stuff out of the garden, but I was the picky one. I would eat baked potatoes, bacon, cereal, pizza. I remember my dad took me to the cemetery when I was 6. God, this is kind of toxic actually, but he said, "You're going to be in this grave next year if you don't start eating correctly." But I mean, it didn't change anything. Like I still was filling my body with only crap.
But here's the other piece of this, and this may trigger some people. But as a parent, the video that we saw, and I would love to be able to share it somehow, but in the beginning, it's the French fries, and what does she says? It's the only thing that makes him stop.
Crying is the only thing he
So,
will eat. Yep.
but here's the thing: kids will eat when they're hungry.
They
They
won't
will
starve.
eat. They won't starve. And if the only thing that is in front of them, like, I'm guilty too in the beginning because we were educated, and it isn't any, it's again, parents are not being malicious. They're not trying to harm their kids by feeding them food off of a shelf that we're told is edible.
Right. But it's full of filler.
Yes.
I will say I know your pain if you're a parent out there going, "My kid won't eat when they're hungry." I didn't. They put a plate in front of me at dinner, and I wasn't allowed to get up until I finished. Homework went undone. My mother showed up at 9 p.m. to get me from my aunt's house. That was how I got rescued. I would not eat. But I will say, when I woke up the next day and was hungry, I was going to eat whatever they put in front of me, even if it was eggs,
Mhm.
and I hated eggs.
Yep.
So, yeah, they are difficult. Yeah, they may go to bed with an empty stomach, but the next day they're going to eat what's in front of them.
Mhm.
Because I did.
Yeah. And again, we know this. The foods that are processed taste better.
Oh, yeah.
The foods that are, genetically engineered, they taste better. And so that is what the food engineers do. They are paid to engineer it to taste good. So that's what we prefer over natural fruits and vegetables and meat and eggs and cheese and dairy products. Like we are, it's
Yeah,
what
you're
we're,
right. I mean,
what
that's their job.
happened. It's their job.
They are.
So on that note,
We'll be here all day if we don't stop now,
we
Lindsay.
could totally be here all day talking about this, but really what we want you to understand is just educate yourself.
Yes.
Educate yourself. That is all. Read a book about nutrition. Read a book about free radicals. Read a book about antioxidants and superfoods. That's all we're asking.
Yeah.
Just educate yourself
They're usually
because
pretty cheap. Yeah.
there's free resources on the internet. Now, granted, you can't listen to everything on the internet, but just educate yourself. Don't listen to everything that's on the internet, but I know, so hard. Read a book. So if you found value in this episode, or you feel like there is someone out there who you think could benefit from this episode, please share it with them. Like and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. Give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast listening platform, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.